Hello and welcome to Camp Extras. PlayStation has many gaming franchises and characters under its belt. In the late 2000s, one odd series you could not escape was Buzz. The Buzz series capitalized on the trivia trend that the Scene It series had taken charge of in the era. Well, Buzz made his way to the PSP with Buzz Master Quiz. I played through it recently and I'll give you some history along with a review. All footage was captured off of a PSP, and let's go ahead and hop into this one.
Heavens to Betsy! Who am I and where am I? I am Buzz, which makes this Buzz! Welcome, friends! Let's make it happen!
The story of Buzz dates all the way back to 2004 when Sony acquired a company that had a ton of music licenses. Sony wanted to utilize these licenses in some way and considered creating a quiz game. They approached Relentless Software to make a game for them. Relentless, a small studio based in Brighton, England, was undertaking small conversion work at the time. They had also been involved in music games such as DJ Dex, a house music DJ game. Relentless was a small studio, but their conversion work caught the eye of Sony, and they commissioned a music quiz game. By 2005, Relentless had released Buzz the Music Quiz, what was originally a smaller board game concept that transformed into a TV game show style with a flashy host. It also came with special physical buzzers where you could buzz in for your answers. At launch, it didn't perform well, but sales surged around Christmas time. It's not stated anywhere why. I could see it being because it would be a great gift for kids, especially with the peripherals. So with that, Buzz as a franchise was born. However, as a note, this was strictly a European and Australian phenomenon. Americans like me did not receive any Buzz game unless for whatever reason you wanted to import Buzz. Buzz would receive a ton of games and would leave the music world, transitioning to general knowledge, TV, and even quiz games specifically designed for children. They were pumping these out, but North America wouldn't see Buzz until 2008 with Hollywood Quiz for the PS2 and Quiz TV for the PS3, which would mean the main three PlayStation consoles at that time would all get one, which includes today's game. First announced as Buzz PSP in early 2008, its biggest appeal upon announcement was game sharing, allowing you to play multiplayer with others who had PSPs easily with only one copy. But it also offered single-player content. It would eventually get announced as Buzz Master Quiz. Also, Curve Digital would help with the development of this game and all further PSP Buzz releases. Although it would be released in Europe and Australia quickly after announcement in July of 2008, it would make its American debut on September 23rd, 2008. I actually owned this game back in the day. What was great is that you only needed one PSP for multiplayer, allowing you to pass it around for multiplayer with a group. I actually would play this one on the school bus with my buddy. I did this for maybe a whole year, passing the game back and forth. I have fond memories of Buzz, but does it hold up? I recently played it, and I'd like to share how my experience went.
Where would you most likely find this item?
Nice moves! You've hit the Bronze Award.
The game overall is a tough one to get into the nitty-gritty of on all fronts. This is as basic of a game as you can get. Everything is just a text-based menu. The game involves selecting answers from a set of options. It's a quiz game where you get points for answering quickly and correctly, and it offers nothing more. In the single-player mode, you get a structure where you get 15 different quiz modes that range from answering quickly under 2 minutes for points to answering as many as you can, and a mode where a picture gets clear and you guess what that picture is. All are pretty basic and take only a few minutes to go through. When you try to get high scores to get gold medals on each of them, you get little in-game trophies. So if you're playing this alone, you are looking at an hour of content. Although there are many different questions and none were ever really repeated for me, so there's at least variety there. Although I just wish there was a bit more to the single player experience. This is a handheld game, so there needed to be a little more focus on playing alone, and it needed a little more pizzazz, not just a selection menu. It could have had a map of some type you traveled on for progression, but this was the bare minimum way to present simple quizzes. I found that everything going on here is simply an excuse just to be lazy. I'm the type of person who likes Jeopardy, and when a quiz game leans towards pop culture knowledge, it's something that I feel I'm pretty good at, especially with movies. I think the core quiz modes are fine, it's simply a lack of anything to do after a certain point that kills any momentum of such a simple game. Though the multiplayer carries a lot of weight here. I always appreciated this game's support of pass and play, as I never knew many people who had a PSP. The quiz format made it easier to just pass to a second player, and everyone could play along. There's a game mode here where you have a bomb, and the only way to pass it is by making a correct guess. This is a tense and fun way to keep trivia exciting, and the same applies to the rollover mode, where points accumulate with every incorrect answer, and once someone gets a question right, they win the jackpot. All the other game modes from single player pop up here as well. Buzz has always been a party game, and though I don't think the PSP version will be turning up at any huge parties, it's at least a time waster with a group. One that I've experienced waiting in a terminal for a flight. Now, is there anything notable here? No. Honestly, there are more enjoyable PSP pass and play games such as the Worm series on the console that offer more depth. Unfortunately, Buzz offers no depth and has no game-like modes to really make this anything more. As with most games, just having the presence of another player does help elevate it, yet alone there's no reason to really touch this unless you are a hardcore trivia junkie. This game is too simplistic to ever be anything great.
Oh yeah, the quiz challenges need a bit of kicking. Let's do it!
Once again, on the audio-visual front, there isn't much going on here due to the simplicity of it. The game does have some nice, easygoing trivia-style music throughout, giving off a game show atmosphere. The sounds of clocks ticking, or the music speeding up at the end of a round, work effectively. It gets the job done and makes things tense, but never does anything worth listening to outside of the game. There is a substantial amount of voice work though, since an announcer does read every quiz question. This is great because the lazy route would force you to read it, but luckily here they give you a bit more. Buzz throws in his dialogue, shouting things like "good one" and other little things like that. Buzz has always had an annoying voice to me, but that fits the game show host persona, so in the end, it at least makes sense aesthetically. Overall, the sound does its job, but it doesn't do much more. Though you do pick a character and they all have a unique noise, and that noise repeats every time you guess an answer, and that gets grating fast. There really could have been a little more variety to that noise. The simplicity goes with the graphics too. The game consists of menus and choices to pick. It's clean and easy to read. You don't need anything else. It looks good for what it does, but it won't win any awards. The most interesting thing to come up is the 3D model of Buzz. There's also movie clips that pop up, and you can watch them and you'll answer questions on them, so that does add some variety along with the pictures, but it's nothing special. It's not really doing anything on any front especially well, and it continues to be basic here. Buzz, the Master Quiz, does what it's set up to do, quiz you. There's some positivity in that, and I can't put it down that much. It's a simple quiz game, and the questions are varied with a solid announcer. The multiplayer does help, but the lack of single-player content is part of a bigger issue. The game overall feels lazy. There's no special modes, nothing tying everything together, and overall, it just feels like a portable bar quiz. It feels like Sony would have wanted to push more than just the bare minimum for an exclusive series like this on the PSP. Buzz's bare minimum makes for quite a boring release that I found little joy in. Its one little shining light is being able to pass and play between other people, but I think it's better done elsewhere on the console, making for something that I don't think is worth picking up. On my PSP ranking list, which now features 11 games, Buzz enters in at number 10. Friend or Foe was broken and had many issues, which Buzz is at least glitchless and isn't fundamentally poor. Yet Web of Shadows, though not a great game, at least had some personality to make it stand out a bit more than Buzz. Buzz came out to mixed reviews according to Metacritic, where it holds a 68 average. IGN gave it a 7.8. The writer does point out that they are a trivia fan and love the idea of having trivia everywhere, but did find it to be visually boring, and they did say that it didn't offer a lot. GameSpot gave it a 6, saying the multiplayer and single player were both shallow, but they did like the pass and play features. In the December 2008 issue of PlayStation Official Magazine, they gave it a 4 out of 5, saying that the multiplayer was excellent, especially because you only needed 1 UMD, making for an excellent party game. According to VG Charts, this game sold 900,000 copies, just a little short of 1 million copies. This game was no slouch when it came to sales. Buzz was a powerhouse at the time, and this would not be the end for Buzz. It would receive quite a few more releases over the next 2 years on all PlayStation consoles, and the Buzz peripheral would even be used in non-Buzz games such as Disney's Think Fast and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Although the Buzz series would end in 2010 with Buzz Quiz Player, which felt like a lame attempt to monetize this game even more, where you got a simple party trivia pack for quizzes, and then you would buy quiz packs as DLC to add into the game. To me, that's a bad way to end this series. Buzz would pretty much disappear, but would pop up in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale and much more recently the Astro games. Relentless Software would stick around, releasing some Kinect games and the Murder Files games, but would eventually shut down in 2016. Who knows what's in store for Buzz anymore, if anything at all, but it's definitely an interesting piece of PlayStation history. Let me know if you've ever played Buzz before. I'm interested in hearing everybody's opinions on this series. If you enjoyed this review, please leave a like. It really helps me out in the algorithm. Subscribe to keep up with more retro gaming content, and check out my main channel, Camp Xbox, for more retro Xbox content. And I'll see you here next time at Camp Extras.